All right, ladies and gentlemen, Punnett Squares Part 2. Today you need to read the scenarios, which means you're going to need to hit that reset button to find your way back to here. Remember, to get to here, you need to click on the lab book. You will need to read the scenario. For example, this one says the cross between two flies is expected to produce 50% homozygous gray-bodied offspring and 50% heterozygous gray-bodied offspring. So that means that you need to start by putting in your offspring first. So you're going to do your Punnett squares in the lab today. 50% homozygous gray-bodied. Remember, the big G is dominant, so 50%. Oh, do you see what happened there? I can't put the offspring in first. So I have to think through. So gray-bodied homozygous is big G, big G. So if I have a big G there, and a big G there, and a big G there, and I want to make heterozygous gray-bodied, that means that has to be a big G, little g, which means if this is a big G and this is a big G, I bet this has to be a big G. And if this is a big G and a big G, then this maybe has to be a big G. So I would select parent, big G, big G. But to get those little G's over here, to make those heterozygous gray-bodied, this has to have a little G. But remember, this has got to have a big G. So that means that parent has to be a big G, big G. Let's check. Right? Then you complete the Punnett square. So you kind of have to think through the scenario and then check yourself. So we're going to say this was big G, big G, big G, big G, big G, little g, big G, little g, getting a homozygous gray, a homozygous gray, a heterozygous gray, a heterozygous gray. Check the offspring. And it is good. Folks, that's what you're doing today. Make sure you do the Punnett squares first.